Good afternoon, everyone. I, CA Charmi Atul Shah, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast, Core Competency that Strengthens CA Leadership Skills. On behalf of committee, I welcome today's resource person, Gunit Paul, and all others present over here. Before we start the session, I would formally introduce the speaker. He is an accomplished corporate trainer and academic leader over 17 years of rich and diverse experience in training, delivery, soft skills development, students counseling, and institutional capacity building. He has successfully contributed to national and international initiatives for leading organizations and government departments, including the ICEI, PVS Credit, MHRD, Police Commissionerate, Ministry of External Affairs, and also done various faculty development program, leadership workshop, and life skill training for diverse audiences ranging from students and faculty to corporate professionals across disciplines such as management, law, design, and education. His collaboration with global and national brands like Big Bazaar, Godrej, and Nivea reflects his commitment to bridging academia and industry. With these brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, and now the floor is all open for your deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chami, for such a wonderful introduction. So I hope everybody is doing fine and great. And I would also like to wish you a very happy Guru Purab. Today is Guru Nanak Jayanti, and his wisdom has been with us for all these years. And so on this note, I would like to talk about the core competencies on leadership. We'll try to understand leadership as a CA today, right? So before I start, I would like everybody to just think of a leader that comes to their mind when they think of leadership. It can be from any field. It can be a teacher, it can be a sports icon, it can be from politics, it can be from Bollywood also, right? So just try to think that what kind of leaders around you that you cherish, and at the same time, what kind of leaders you do not cherish, right? And try to understand that what sets them apart. What kind of people would you like to be with? What kind of people would you like to deal with? What kind of people would you like to work with? So leadership is very simple. At the same time, it's very complex. Very simple in the sense that you want to be a leader whom everybody wants to follow. At the same time, everybody is everybody, right? So there's so many people, so many different types of people, different types of personality. So how do you manage that? How do you position yourself as a role model for each one of them? How do you empathize with each one of them? How do you make sure that making them lead and leading an organization goes hand in hand, right? So today we'll try to drop in some insights. We'll try to understand what are the competencies which are required as a leader and how can we develop these competencies. Okay, so on this note, let's start this session. So I would like to bring forward a term which is very vibrant in today's business environment. So it's called VUCA, VUCA. Try to think what is VUCA. Try to, understand the abbreviation VUCA. What comes to your mind? What are these four letters? So VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Today's business world is defined by these four letters. Business is volatile. It's uncertain. It's so complex. There are so many policies, so many rules. There is so many procedures. Uncertain, anything can happen. Tomorrow, Trump gets up and wakes up and says something, right? And everything changes. So it's so uncertain. Things are happening at a pace, right? Sometimes a natural disaster happening, and that changes the whole scenario. Sometimes the policies are changing. Sometimes the governments are changing. Sometimes the consumer preferences are changing. So many things are changing, which affects the whole business environment. At the same time, it's so ambiguous, right? With the technology coming up, there are so many things which are still not clear. You may be a business owner running a business for 75 years, and then suddenly somebody comes and takes over you. It disrupts you, right? For example, the story of Instagram. Instagram destroyed every other business which was running in terms of photo apps. And ultimately, right, a team of 13 or 14 people, they disrupted big firms like Facebook and they had to buy them. So what we do as CAs, right? We are leaders, we guide businesses, not just for money, we also give them strategies, we also give them viewpoints, we also help them guide, right? So, as a leader today, we need to understand what is VUCA. Leadership is about navigating VUCA with clarity, right? So, that means that as a leader, you need to be updated with whatever is happening in the industry. You need to be updated whatever is happening in the business world. You also need to get updated with whatever is happening in the political world, right? So, internal scenarios, external scenarios in terms of a country. Similarly, in terms of what is happening in your field, how are people developing as CAs? How have they developed as CAs in the history? So, what I'm trying to say is that if you want to traverse through this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment, the journey is not easy, right? The journey is full of information, it is full of data. At the same time, it is full of analytical thinking. How do you analyze data? How do you understand that what is there in front of you and how it can be utilized? Right? Information is everywhere. Today we have ChatGPT, we have Perplexity, we have Microsoft Copilot, we have Meta in our hands on WhatsApp, right? We have Gemini, right? And there's so many AI tools available in every field. In fact, there is AI. So creating a need for yourself in the market, one, and secondly, how do we understand the information world that exists today, and how do we deal with it? For example, if you want to teach someone something, right? That person can say that, okay, I can learn it through AI, I can learn it through YouTube, I can learn it through anywhere. So what value do you bring? Similarly, every organization would like to know that what value do you bring as a leader in terms of leading the CE operations, right? Similarly, the people that work with you in your team, right? Some of you are young CAs, some of you might be established CAs, right? You are leading a team. So they would like to know that why are they under your team? Why are they under your guidance? Why can't they open up their own firm and do something, right? So that is where, as a leader, your exposure, your insights, your value system, that is where everything combines up and brings the real leader in you, right? So let's start with how CA leadership has, evolved over the years. So we have moved forward. We have moved forward from the traditional role to the modern role, right? For example, in traditional role, your role was technical accounting expertise. However, now, as I said just earlier, it has shifted towards strategic business leadership, right? So it's not only, sorry, is this visible now? Yeah. So it's not only your accounting expertise which is going to help the business houses. It is also the strategy that you bring, what kind of partnerships you build, right? And what kind of long-term relationships that or long-term values that you create for a country or an organization, right? So when I say that you create value, so the value has to be created in terms of, one is the exposure that you carry, second is the decisions that you take, third is the analysis that you make and the visions that you create, right? Forecasting what is going to happen in the future and helping an organization or a client take informed decisions well in time, right? So, right from an individual client who's just filing his income tax through you, right, to an organizations who are running everything through you. So the base requires same, right? Base means that the basis is same, that everybody wants a value from you, right? They want a value to be added through your services. The value can be in terms of money also. The value can also be in terms of how much time you save them in the processes. The value can also be in terms of how much growth that you bring, right? It may not always be in terms of money, okay? Similarly, the value may also be in terms of how comfortable you make other people feel or organizations feel when they're dealing with you. A lot of times I hear, right, that people are arrogant. People are, when they have a lot of knowledge, they have an air of ego around them, right? So this is what hampers the leadership qualities. So look at people who have very high knowledge and are very successful in life, right? One thing you'll find common in them is their humble nature, right? So the traditional role to modern leadership role, there are so many things which have been added, right? You see a lot of companies, they are investing more and more in customer support. Why is the product not enough? Why do we need to have investment in the customer care support, right? And in customer care, the people are trained in terms of empathy, in terms of understanding what the client needs, even when the client is wrong, even when the client has a problem which is, out of a company's control, still their customer care has been trained in a way that they can handle the client mentally also, psychologically also, emotionally also, right? Similarly, as a CA, you have to understand that you have to carry your client, right? You are carrying your client in your hands, right? So if you're nurturing an organization, you're nurturing a client's life, okay? And you're not just building a short-term partnership, you are building a long-term relationship. So that is why I said that traditional role of just technical accounting expertise has now moved to strategic business partnerships. Then, when we talk about compliance and reporting, traditionally it was how can we be compliant in all the rules and regulations, and how can we file all reports on time. That was the traditional thing. But now it is about cross-functional integration. You have to be in talks with all the departments in an organization. You need to be in touch with the legal teams. You need to be in touch with the audit teams. You also be in touch with the marketing teams or the finance teams. There's so many things. For example, let's take an example of an educational institution, right? So in education institution, if you do not understand the academic systems, right, you will not be able to advise as a CA. There will be so many things that an education institution might want to invest in. Okay, so as a CA, you can advise only if you are good in interpersonal communications and cross-functional integration. That means you are able to talk to the vice chancellor also, you're able to interact with the accounts team also, you're able to interact with the admissions team also. You're also able to understand that when the marketing happens and how and where the money is spent and how better investments can be created for in a education ecosystem, right? So similarly, traditionally it was more about financial analysis, right? What can you do as a financial expert? How can you analyze? But now with the advent of technology, right, there's so much AI involved, there's so much technology involved, and there is so much integration of the IT tools as well as softwares, that as a CA, now leadership has transformed from being a financial analyst expert to digital financial analysis expert. When we add the word digital, it means it is going to save time for the organizations. The work which required a lot of time should now be done in a quicker time, right? Now, when I say quicker time, it doesn't mean that the organization can simply download a software and get the work done. Your expertise is always going to be required. But in case you are not well versed with the softwares or the technologies or the AI tools, right? And you just simply also make a statement that, okay, I'm a traditional CA and I do not use this, I use my own acumen. That is not a good approach, right? So we need to have an acumen in which we are ready to digitally transform ourselves, right? Let's take an example of a vendor, a simple vendor. You can go to let's say, a stationery shop, or you can go to a, let's say, grocery owner, right? If they have not digitally transformed themselves, right, they are going to be lacking behind. A simple case of, let's say, digital payments. If they, I know a lot of people were adamant that they're not going to go for digital payments, they're not going to use QR codes. Now everybody is now starting to gain up. Similarly, if we talk about the advent of marketing, right? A lot of people, traditional businesses, they were not investing in social media marketing, but now they've started doing that. Why? Because the clients, they're now clients, right? For example, India 50 to 60% population is now in the younger age group. Okay, so that means everybody's on social media. So uh, I was training the employees or dealers of Indian Oil and Bharat Petroleum, right? So our topic of discussion was that they are traditional business owners, right? They said that we don't have to be on social media. Why should we be on social media, right? Everybody will need petrol and they'll come to us. Okay, and they have been always be coming to us, that why should we change our approach? Okay, but when we made them realize that the your younger generation is going to come to that petrol pump which has good rating on Google, right? They're not going to go to just any petrol pump, right? And also they are going to go to that petrol pump which is visible online, which means that on Google Maps it's visible. And for example, when I'm driving, right? For example, that I'm driving outstation and I want to have my refill done. So I always check on Google Map that which is the nearest petrol station. And when I'm checking that, Google Map also gives me the rating of the station, right? Now, this rating is something which the Gen Z is going to give to the petrol pump, which the petrol pump owners are not realizing. That means they have to uplift their services as well as they need to get a good rating. Now, they do not go for the rating system. They say that our competitors are going to give us less ratings and make us feel, incompetent. So, what I'm trying to say here is, if they do not move forward, okay, their businesses are not going to have that dynamic shift which others will have. Okay, Similarly, as a leader, as a CA, you have to make sure that you break the mold of a traditional leadership as a CA and move to digital transformation. It is going to save time for you as well as your company. Plus, the people who are going to work with you, they are from the new generation. They are well versed with the tools. In fact, a lot of students that I teach, like we used to teach earlier, and students wanted to go for traditional job roles. Now everybody wants to go into business analytics, data analytics. Recently I was interacting with an international student and he's doing a course in biotechnology, and he came to me, he said, sir, I want to do a course in biotechnology and data analytics combined together, right? So I asked him that this part of the course might not be available in your credit system, but you can do an additional course. He said, yes, I'm ready to do that. So what was his thought process? He wants to use his biotechnology knowledge and combine it with data analysis so that he can contribute to research in a better way, right? So that is the power of digital transformation these days. Everybody wants to be digitally transformed. So if you as a CA lead this way, more and more people will join you, more and more organization will want to be with you, right? Because your systems will become transparent, right? Let's take a simple example, right? If I'm a business owner and I want to check, right, that what is the status of the work being done by the CA firm, right? If I have the digital access of everything that they are doing, I can check the progress anywhere, anytime. I do not have to call you, I do not have to come to you, I do not have to check everything. Similarly, as a CA, if you want to, you have a team and you divide and delegate the work as per their core strengths, right? So what you can do is you can have these locks on various softwares wherein you say that only this part of data will be visible to this team member, and the other part of data will be visible to, so that means you are also ensuring confidentiality. Plus end-to-end encryptions are available when you digitally transform. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is we need to update ourselves. We need to give us ourselves more exposure if we want to grow as leaders, right? So leadership is disruption mean, right? Disruption means disruptions can be in any way. Disruption means that whatever was being done earlier, now you have found a better and an efficient way, and a uh, time saving and cost saving way. At the same time, you are able to make a difference, you are able to add value, right? So moving on from traditional role to modern leadership role is very, very important, right? Coming to the last part, for example, our role as CAs was audit and assurances, but now it has changed in modern leadership to more value creation, which I've been talking about throughout this slide. So value creation as well as innovation. Innovation means that what ideas do you suggest, right? If in fact I would say that your ideas, right, they can change policies. Your innovations can change the way the work is done around the world, right? uh, let's take for an example. A lot of my students are now investing in cryptocurrencies, right? So if as a CA you're not well vised with the policies regarding cryptocurrencies, right? So you will not be able to add value to their lives, right? You will maybe you'll guide them that no, cryptocurrency is risky and everything, but you can't stop them because they are doing it, because they have the connections through social media. And I can see a lot of my students, they are investing in forex. Just imagine, right? We hesitated to go for sensex, they have started in forex, and they are following these things. So they are going to go to that CA who is modern, who is going to have an upper hand on the technology, who's also going to listen to them and not just say that this is not possible, that is not possible, right? Who's also able to guide them in a way that is practical. Okay, at the same time, your clients are not always going to be from the modern generation, so you'll have to strike a good balance between the traditional and the modern leadership. And as a leader, you should know which style to opt for and when, right? That decision making or that ability will define you even better as a leader, right? So I hope that I've been able to do justice on this slide. The evolution of CA, right? You need to understand history, that how traditional systems have been happening, and you need to update yourself with the best systems in the world, not just in the country. And you should connect with new age CAs through LinkedIn or through other professional networking, right? You should attend events maybe hosted by ICAI things like these, the webinars like these or podcasts like these, you should try to see that who are the participants and you should connect with them. Okay, so networking is going to be the key. Through networking you'll get to know what's happening in the world and how people are making things happen. Through networking you'll be able to do justice to your role. So because the world is changing very fast, I just told you, volatile, right, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. So how to break into that circle? For example, Abhimanyu was able to break into the Chakravyuh, right? He was able to understand that how to manage his people, how to manage his environment, how to manage his culture. So how do you do that? It is through networking, right? You need to connect with people who are already surviving in this environment, which is volatile, right? You need to connect with people who are business leaders. You need to connect with people who are thought leaders. You need to connect with people who are from newspapers, people who are writing journals, people who are writing business analysis reports. You should get in touch with people who are reporters of economic times. You should have an upper hand on what is happening in the world and why it is happening. The why part is very important. Once you get hold of the why, then the ambiguous or the uncertain things, they are in your control, in a control to a certain extent, right? So obviously we can't predict anything, but we can still plan and strategize. So I think you need to upgrade yourself. So evolution of as a CA or as any professional, as a leader, it means that you should have an upper hand of what is happening around you, and you should be able to take decisions based on that. Yes, there will be times at which you will feel that okay, there is less time. When should I do all these things? That is where, as a leader, you need to understand that time management is an integral part of leadership, right? Goal setting is an integral part of leadership, right? So today we are here to discuss the core competencies of leadership, right? All these things and everything that helps you grow is leadership, right? It can be your personal fitness, right? If you're fit, you'll have more energy, you'll get tired less, you can give more time, so you'll be able to do things faster. Similarly, whatever you eat, that is also leadership, right? When you say no, for example, a wedding season is going on, so are you able to say no to that sweet which is offered to you? Are you able to say no to that gourmet which is in front of you, right? So as being a leader is being a person who's able to manage himself or herself, and a person who's able to manage himself or herself, only that person can manage others, right? Because people will look up to you, they will see that is this person sophisticated, does he pay attention to details, right? So even things like what you wear become a part of leadership, right? How you dress yourself, right? What kind of attire you wear, what kind of, even if you're wearing spectacles, right? How do you buy that? What design are you wearing? When I say design is it subtle and makes you look professional or not, right? So every decision, that is what I'm saying, we are moving forward from traditional role to the evolution, right? So evolution is in terms of everything. Nowadays brand is everything. So your brand is affected by what you wear, how you wear it, right? And where you wear it, when you wear it. So what I'm trying to say is, at what time of the day, what are you wearing, in terms of when you are in a client meeting, in terms of when you are addressing your team members, right? And being in an age of social media, your personal life is also in front of everybody, be it through WhatsApp statuses, be it through maybe Instagram, right? Be it through LinkedIn. So there's no hiding anywhere basically. Okay, so branding is thus becomes an integral part. Okay, so we should transcend the traditional boundaries if we want to establish ourselves as leader. Okay, so moving on, let's see. So I'm going to share an example of a person who established himself as a big leader, as a CA. So Kumar Mangalam Birla, you should read about these stories, and not just this story. You should read about stories all around the world in business, right? And you should see that what changed. As a chairman of Aditya Birla Group, his decision making, right, that exemplifies how CAs they can leverage financial acumen, right? For example, he was the one who drove diversification, right? He was the one who pushed the Aditya Birla firm into telecommunication and retail, and look how they have placed themselves. Okay, and the vision that is going to matter in as a leader. Okay, so one thing is having a vision, and second thing is being able to communicate that vision in a clear and succinct manner, right? Having a vision, one thing. convincing people. How do you convince people? Yes, there will be open criticisms. Whenever you'll try to enforce a change, there'll be an open criticism. Maybe there might be a mockery also. So how do you get over that? How are you emotionally intelligent to get over that? That is what establishes yourself as leader. So what I'm trying to say is, if you read stories like these, if you know how things have happened in the world. For example, I'll uh, share an example here. A person who was also called as one of the rocket boys of India, right? He was the person who launched the first rocket for India, right? Now, what happened when he was trying to launch? The government, right? The government gave him the budget because he was in good relationship with the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, right? I'm talking about Mr. Vikram Sarabhai, right? He wanted to launch the first rocket from India. At the same time, he received immense kind of opposition. People said that India has just got independence. We need to spend on roti, kapra, and makan, right? So basic needs. So we need to spend on basic needs, and you are investing on rockets. How are rockets going to help us? So every month a finance clerk used to come from the government, right, into his office, and he used to talk to his team members, and he used to say, where are you spending this money? Why are you doing this? What is this happening? So he used to ask for the small bills, that give me this, where have you spent that? In Vikram Sarabhai's team was the young APJ Abdul Kalam and so many other scientists. They used to ask Vikram Sarabhai that, a person from the finance ministry is come questioning us every day. He doesn't even understand what we're doing, right? On what basis is he questioning us? So Vikram Sarabhai, being a leader, he said he doesn't understand our vision, right? He is doing his work, and he's doing his work ethically, right? And he's asking us the right questions. We should be answering him, but he doesn't understand that how a rocket is going to uplift the country, right? And he was right. The first rocket, it launched the satellite. Through satellite, we got Doordarshan. Through Doordarshan, Vikram Sarabhai educated all the farmers of the country through a show which was telecasted on Doordarshan, all the villages, which was called Krishi Darshan, right? And agriculture became the main GDP mainstay of our country, right? This was Vikram Sarabhai's vision in sending the rockets, but nobody else could have understood that. Okay, so as a leader, you need to understand your vision may not be the same in the same vein or in the same strata with everybody, right? It may not be in the same zone with everybody. So what you need to understand is, you need to make sure that you're able to convince people, right, to invest in you. Investing is not just in money, to invest their time in listening to you, to invest their energy in listening to you, right? And at the same time, you need to have that open heart to listen to everybody who's criticizing or who is asking you to way too many questions, right? You have to respect everybody around you. Then only you are able to uh, transform organizations through your decision making, because everybody is going to ask you, because the decisions that you will enforce or take may not be understood by everybody, right? There might be open criticism, there might be grapevine going on, there might be people talking behind your back. So you need to understand that if you want to make a difference, it has to be through effective leadership, which involves effective communication. I'll share another story with you. So our former ICAI president, right, TN Manoharan, right, when Satyam happened, right, the crisis leadership which happened in Satyam. So there was so much happening, and that is where the ethical courage of Mr. TR Manoharan, it helped them, reach a conclusion. So that leadership was so exceptional at that time that its demonstration, the Satyam scandal was so huge, right? I still remember a lot of people who had been hired by Satyam, right? And they didn't even get their openings, right? They didn't even get to see Satyam, right? And the people who had invested in Satyam, people who were working in Satyam already. So many people involved. So what was his approach? Okay. Now here are why I'm sharing this story, because ethical integrity is a very important part of leadership, right? Secondly, strategy building. How do you handle a crisis, right? Through what management protocols do you do that, right? Third, how do you communicate, right? Here what was the mainstay was the transparent communication. It happened to all the stakeholders. Okay, so you need to understand that transparency, ethics, integrity, these are the cornerstones of a leadership. Okay, and especially in CA, when the finances are involved, when investments are involved, where whole, the whole business is sounding on you. So if transparency is not there, there'll always be some or the other kind of what do you say, confusion that is happening, ambiguity that is happening, and it may lead to miscommunications, right? It may lead to more time in convincing people. So it's important that we are able to create systems. Now this is where digital transformations can help you, right? So digital transformation, you can educate people about what you're doing. You can give them compelling presentations, right? You can have them on board in most of your processes, right? So because obviously you can't share confidential information with everybody, right? But at the same time, you are able to convince people through understanding that how in layman's language they can be made to understand, right? And not just business organization, even a client. When you're talking to a client, he needs to understand that why is he investing in you, right? That whatever fee you charging, why is that fee applicable in today's right, I mean era. At the same time, he also needs to understand that why should he listen to you. Okay, and he can ask you these things, right? So you need to understand that as a leader, if we do not read a lot, right? Reading is not just about your own technical information. It is also about strategy. It's also about how people have taken certain decisions in life. So let's now start with a basic definition of what is leadership, right? So talking about the VUCA environment and the two stories and then the evolution of traditional to modern leadership. So what is leadership in true basic sense? Who is a leader, right? Whom do you think as a leader? Think of some person that you who led you in at any point of life. Think of a person whom you led at any point of time, right? And now look at the definition: ability to guide. So the person who led you, did he guide you or not, right? Or do you go him for guidance till now or not? If yes, then yes, that is a true leader. Did that person inspire you, right? Did that person serve as an inspiration? Inspiration can be in any form. For example, did that person inspire to wake up early? Maybe did that person inspire you to turn into a healthy diet person? It can be anything. Did that person inspire you to be more organized in your approach, right? Did that person inspire you to be dedicated? Inspiration can be in any form. So leadership is about guiding others, inspiring others, and most importantly, supporting others. Support is a true leader. A person who is able to support in crisis, support you in good times, bad times, right? Support you when you need guidance, support you when you need coaching, support you when you need maybe a personal help at any point of time. So a leader is a person who is able to guide, inspire, and support, and do all this to achieve a common goal, not an individual goal, not a personal goal, right? So when you have a common goal in mind and you're able to achieve that by guiding, inspiring, right, and supporting people, that is leadership, right? So leadership is about delegation. You delegate the work, you guide people, you support, you also take progress checks, right? You help them upgrade their efficiency. Okay, so it goes beyond giving instructions. So guiding, inspiring, and support is not just instructing and getting things done. Okay, so it goes beyond instructing. It is built on words like trust. Okay, you're asking somebody to do it. Why should that person trust? How do you make that person trust? Okay, you're asking somebody to spend time on maybe doing a certain upgradation knowledge, right? The trust is a factor which a true leader creates, right? Trust can be through the words that they speak. Trust can be through the transparency that you bring. Okay, trust can be through the unbiased approach that you bring, right? So trust can be in various words. So another word is encouraging collaboration. A leader does not create individual leaders, right? A leader creates collaborative team efforts. Individual leaders, yes, a leader can create an individual leader, but the focus is on how these individual people can collaborate and do something wonderful. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is If you're leading cross functional teams, right, you need to make them collaborate. If you're leading teams with similar competencies, still they need to collaborate, otherwise they'll all be going in their own directions and there will be problems in the team. So a leader is a person who encourages synergy, right? You must have heard something called 1 plus 1 is equal to 11, right? That is what a leader aims for, right? So we can build teams, we can have 10 people in team, 12 people in the team, right? So why do we need a team? Team means that a person can do a work, let's say in 2 hours, and 12 persons individually, right? They will take 2 hours to do the work, right? But in synergy, it means that if we've given a work of 2 hours to 12 people, it should be done in maybe 30 minutes. Or maybe the time is 2 hours, but the efficiency or the benchmarking or the quality is very, very high, right? It is like maybe 500%. So a leader is a person who's able to delegate the work and encourage collaboration and get works done, right? A leader is a person which help others grow. How do you help others grow? Not by supporting them in terms of, okay, they want to do something and you're supporting them. No. For example, let's say there's a Japanese proverb. They say that if you give a man a fish to eat, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him to fish, you feed him for life. So, helping others grow is giving them such ecosystems or such platforms in which they thrive, in which they learn, in which they strategize, in which they brainstorm, in which they fail, they fall down, and then they get up, right? For example, a recent victory of our women cricket team, right, the World Cup winning cricket team, it was very clear to the world that that the cricket is emerging in the women's sector, and in India also, right? People knew that our girls are doing well, but very less people believe that they are going to win, right? And they are going to win a major tournament, right? It has been started for so many years, 2007 and 12 and 15 and 17, so many tournaments happening. But it was the leadership which helped them. Leadership in the sense, the BCCI's leadership in terms of giving them support, giving them an good support staff, good environment, monetary support, as well as giving them encouragement to grow. So growth comes by building an ecosystem of trust. They put their trust in them, right? They encourage them to fail. It's okay if you fail. The whole country is behind you, the whole leadership is behind you. This is so, and a leader, it doesn't have to be an individual, it can be an organizational. So your team can be a leader. For example, let's say you are leading CA as a team, and your team is catering to a client, right? The whole team should behave as a leader when they are individually handling the client. Okay, so we should, our aim as a firm or as an individual should be to make organizations grow, to make people grow, to make people feel better, we feel confident, we feel secure, right? So when I talk to students, sometimes they feel a leader is a person who gives orders. No, leadership is not about authority. Leadership is about influencing people. You do not say that you have to do this because I'm your leader. You should be able to influence that person through your words, through your decisions, through your actions, that that person feels empowered to do it. Similarly, leadership is about purpose, creating a purpose for the person, creating a purpose for yourself, creating a purpose for the organization. As well as leadership is about being in action, right? Right. So when I say being in action means, like for example, Nike says just do it, right? Action based approach. A lot of time, leaders may take decisions, leaders may build strategies, but when it comes to taking action, when it comes to walking the path that they have created for others, sometimes they lose courage, right? So, leadership is about doing the action and leading by example. Okay, so what is leadership? Leadership is a phenomena through which you create an ecosystem which makes people grow, organizations grow, and at the same time, it helps them grow in an environment which is trusted, right? Which is emotionally secure, which means growth for each and every individual, which is unbiased, which is transparent, which is ethical, right? At all times, as a leader, you should keep these words in mind. And whatever am I doing, is it going to help somebody, inspire somebody, influence somebody? Is it going to increase the benchmarks, or is it going to increase the level of how people do something, right? And the most important thing is you should always try to uplift anybody that you serve as a leader, right? I use the word serve as a leader, right? That is the main thing. Let's say you're leading a team of 5 people, right? And there's a job that needs to be done, and there's a work, there's a project which has to be done through those 5 people, right? Leadership is not defined by those project achievements only. It is not confined to those project achievements. If during the course of this project, of course the main priority is getting the project done, if during the course of this project you're also able to uplift each one of them to such a level that they become influensive, right? That in the coming time they become a person like of influence, they become a purpose, they become the person of value, right? Each one of them becomes a value creator. That is when you become leader. If in this course of this doing the project, each one of them learns a new skill, learns a new competency, improves their habits, improves their viewpoint of life, right? If during the course of this project you're also able to do something in their personal life, right? Personal life in the sense that if they're going through some emotional turmoil, you are there, or in their happy times, you are there, right? It means a lot for them, a lot for them, right? I being the head of department, so there's so many people who are reporting to me, right? And a lot of people, they're young, and they have their birthdays or marriages or something like that, and then they do invite, right? So many invitations they come, but whenever I make sure that I just, even if I'm not able to go there, I send them a message at the right time, the right way. They are so full of happiness. They always say that thank you for being a part of my special moment. And I've seen that they, when they come back, right, and when they talk to us, they feel connected. They feel that it is not just for the project that we are connected together. We are connected together as people, right? So man is a social animal, right? Humans, in fact, is a social animal. So what does social animal means? It means that we love to connect, right? So a lot of times business partnerships, they become friendships, right? There's so many people in organizations which are working, and they have become, they think of the organization as a family. How does it happen? Because leadership is good. Similarly, if you want that the organizations that you serve, they should consider you as their family. That is the kind of trust we need to bring through leadership, right? And leadership doesn't mean that always giving them that, okay, yes, you're doing good and everything. Leadership means that you're able to create a trust to give them tactical advice, to tell them that if they're going wrong, sternly you're able to say that this is where you're going wrong, right? A lot of times you may not be able to say that. You might feel that, okay, I might lose a client if I talk to him like that. That is where the environment of trust that you have built earlier, that helps you. Okay, so moving on, let's understand what is leadership in terms of definition of position, right? So leadership does not come from being a chairman, or leadership does not come from being a president, or leadership does not come from being a HOD, right? So leadership doesn't come through titles, basically. Okay, sometimes people have titles, but they lack leadership qualities. They just are being followed because they are at a position. So what I'm saying is, leadership is not just entitlement. Leadership means that your actions, they speak that why you are the president, why you are the chairman, right? For example, let's take an example of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, right? He's considered, one of the most successful personalities in Bollywood, and in a way we can call him that he's a leader in terms of, um, if we talk about the prowess as an actor. So when his actions, his the empathy, when he speaks in Kaun Banega Crorepati, people are not just watching that show just because he's hosting. They're watching the show because they feel connected to that person. His actions, his empathy, his ability to uplift anybody who's in front of you, the way he respects even a child sits in front of him, a child or a girl or a boy or a housewife, everybody that comes in front of him, he gives them so much respect, right? That is why he had, in your mind, he has a very high position, right? There is nowhere that a title has been given to him, okay? But in your mind, there's a title that Amitabh Bachchan. It means something, right? So similarly, so leadership is a position or a aura through which you gain respect, right? You earn respect, in fact, through your actions, through your thoughtfulness, through your intelligence, through your acumen, right? You're able to do things which others find it hard to do, right? So leadership means that you should continuously upgrade yourself in terms of your emotional intelligence, right? Leadership means that you should regularly communicate with people with clarity. There should not be any ambiguousness, there should not be any biasness, there should be complete transparency when you communicate, right? And that is when you earn that respect from others. Similarly, how do you make others feel seen and supported, right? You can see MS Dhoni started the trend when he got the World Cup trophy. He handed it to the youngest person in the team and he went to the side. And now everybody is following that. Harman on that day, Harmanpreet Kaur, when they lifted the World Cup, right? She was on left hand side, and the young players, the players of the tournament, Deepti Sharma, as well as the opener, who became the man of the match, sorry, the player of the match, right? She was the one who's, Shefali Burma was holding the trophy. So, what does mean? It means you are empowering others to be seen in front of others, right? You appreciate. So, leadership says that you appreciate people in front of others, and when you have to give them a negative feedback in terms of growth, give them individually. Don't give them in front of others. Which means that whenever you present people to others, you're presenting them in a way that is increasing their stature, right? So that is how you earn that one word called respect. Now, there are various types through which you can lead, right? There are many theories of leadership, right? I'm going to just explain you in very simple ways, right? So, one leadership style is involving everybody. Whatever you do, whatever decisions you take, you involve everybody in that decision. You take everybody together. You are bringing everybody on the same platform, and you are saying that, okay, let's do this. You are using the words like, we are in this together, let's make things happen, right? Let's get ready for the new age, right? For example, I was talking about digital transformation, right? You don't have to be alone in this. You have to involve everybody. So let's try to digitally transform ourselves. Let's see what can be done. Let's teach each other. Let's see if somebody is good in AI, please help others. If somebody is good in Tally, you help the other person, right? If somebody is good, has an exposure of some particular software, let's you teach everybody, right? So everybody should be made a person who of value. Everybody should be involved in these kind of discussions, okay? So what I was saying was, one style of leadership is involving others in the decision making, right? Similarly, another style of leadership is you are having the direct control, okay? So sometimes in crisis situations, when you feel everybody is panicking, right, then you are trying to build uh, confidence everybody, then maybe you take a direct control. You say, okay, let me lead, and then you see how it is done, and then next time you also do it. So in higher pressure situations, maybe you take a direct role. So you should know how to adjust your style as per situations, right? So there are many styles. One style is called democratic leadership, one is called autocratic leadership, one is called laissez-faire leadership. So in layman's language, this is what they mean, that based on the need and the people and the situation, where you should adapt various styles, right? When it requires you to lead from the front, when it's crisis, when you feel that, okay, others might crumble or fail, right? Yes, you empower them over the time, but sometimes when immediately some crisis strikes, that is where you say that, okay, let me take the responsibility, let me take the ownership, right? You all stand behind me and I'll show you how it's done, and then we all uh, can play a small part in everything, okay? So there are various ways in which you can lead people. So you should read about this also. You should read that how various styles have helped various leaders in the world, and how some styles have not really helped leaders, how they have led to maybe results achieved were great, but at the same time people did not call you as a leader, right? For example, Mr. Sachin Tendulkar, right? I'll give you an example of his. So in his retirement speech, he said that his father had told me that, and the way I'm seeing your progress, you're going to be a very good player. In fact, you might be one of the best in the world. But he said, I would be very happy if people don't just remember you for your cricket, they remember you more for the kind of person you are, right? So Sachin was a person who never lost his cool on the field. Right? So many ballers they slashed him, so many situations happened, but he never lost his cool. So he is a true leader in terms of humility. He is a true leader. A lot of youngsters they want to emulate him. At the same time, another thing about Sachin is that he never shied away from, he was never insecure. He guided the likes of Yuvraj Singh, Virat Kohli. You can see Virat Kohli has broken some of his records. So that Sachin never shied away from anybody that they might overtake me or anything like that. Okay, he was very secure as a player and as a person. That is why you can see that the a picture of him being carried on shoulders by the whole team. It means a lot. Even though he was never the captain, only once he was the captain, then he left that. So still he was the one carried on the shoulders. Still he was the one who's still considered as the king of cricket or the god of cricket. So that is what I was saying. It is not about the title given to you. It is the kind of respect you earn through your actions. Now you can see that Sachin was a good one-day player, a good test player, and when T20 came, he adjusted himself. In fact, he got a century in T20 cricket as well, right? So which means a big thing. He was the first one to reach the milestone of 200, right? So he was adapting himself with the changing times, and that is why he was getting respect. In fact, now also he's playing in the tournament of where people who are retired they are playing, and they recently won the tournament. Okay, and so he is leading by example of discipline, right? He went through that injury of tennis elbow. It was a huge thing, but you just look at his career of so many years he gave. So as a leader, what does it teach you? It teaches you that you do not become a leader just by your skills. You become a leader by your attitude, by your conduct, right? The way you lead people, the way you talk to people, the way you create an ecosystem of growth, right? So, how should we grow as transformation leaders? Simple tips, very, very simple tips. If you apply it, if you follow it, it can really help you. The first and the foremost is listen, right? Have the ability to listen, right? People will listen when you talk because you're an expert, but you should also listen to people who are not experts sometimes, right? Maybe it can be your client. He's not an expert, she's not an expert, right? People who are reporting to you, they may not be an expert, but as a transformation leader you need to understand what are they saying. They might be saying something, and in order to make them understand what you say, you first have to understand in what language do they speak, right? Right, what kind of words do they use and what kind of situations are they in, right? So you should listen more than you speak. That's very, very important tip. Second important tip is clarify. Always clarify the vision. You should use clear terms, no confusions. Always clarify what is your vision, what is your task, why are you taking this decision. Always clarify. That's very important. Your vision should be clear to everybody in your team, right? It should not be only clear to you. You should not say that you don't know what I'm trying to achieve. No, nothing like that. You should, in fact, you should spend a good amount of time in goal setting with your team members. You should spend a good amount of time in making them understand that what the future holds in for them, right? Third, create safe spaces for learning. People who are in with you, they should always feel that whenever they meet you, there's always something that they learn, right? It should not be that they always feel that, okay, whenever I meet him, that, oh, he's so intelligent that I always feel small. Never. They should always feel that he's so intelligent that he makes me learn every time I go there, right? So I've seen so many female CAs. They are very good in empathy and they talk to their clients very well, right? And I've seen many male CAs also do the same. So, but what I'm saying is there are still at the same time some CAs who are still in the habit of being a person who finds fault in others, right? Finding a fault and asking them how they can grow are two different things. Okay, so safe spaces, you should create safe spaces. So let's repeat: listen, right? Clarify, create. And the fourth is offer, right? What can you offer as a leader, right? So many things you can offer. For example, today I said that, okay, let's, we are celebrating Guru Nanak Jayanti. So many things he offered as a person. Okay, so many things his learnings are still with us. So what I'm saying is meaningful offer meaningful feedback through which that person can grow, right? One is saying that you have done this wrong, you always do this wrong, you were never able to do this on time, right? This is one way. But offering meaningful feedback means that you tell them that when they do something late, how it is going to affect. For example, you say that I understand that you have turned it in late. There might be many reasons, but do you know how it is going to affect our team, the organization, and how much time it is going to result in? Right? We might lose this client. So it's not that you did anything on purpose, yeah, but at the same time, it would be great if we you can be more organized, more disciplined, because that is how you can grow, we can grow, our organization can grow, and the clients to whom we serve are growing, right? So what are we doing? We are offering a meaningful feedback, and you are clarifying your vision, that my vision is that everybody should grow. You should grow, I should grow, and the clients should grow. Right? I'm not trying to stop anybody's growth, or I'm not trying to just tell you to do something just because I want you to do it. I'm telling you because it's important, and through this, everybody can grow. Right? And last but not the least, always recognize efforts and growth. Always. Okay, recognition everybody likes, right? For example, let's say even in your class, if you remember, yes, if a teacher used to recognize you, okay, this is a person who always comes on time, this is a person who's all very disciplined, right? I'm just giving you example of school days, because recognition in a team means something, right? When you get recognized, suddenly you feel that the people, the way they are looking at you has changed, and suddenly your chin up is high, and you are always trying to maintain that image for which you have been recognized for, right? For example, if I recognize somebody that, okay, this is a person who's highly digitally transformed, he knows all the tools, you can come to him whenever you have any doubt about technology. Now this person whom you have recognized, this person will try his best to stay updated, because he knows that people will come to him now, and he has to maintain a brand, right? So you should always recognize efforts. You should always, for example, you can always recognize the efforts of a client also. You can say that sir or ma'am, you are always there on time, you always submit all the documents on time, that's so great. And now that client will always feel empowered. They'll say, oh yes, I need to submit everything on time to this particular C, and I need to get that brownie points. So these things really happen. For example, I a lot as a child, I remember that a doctor used to recognize us. He says, "Oh, very good. You're not eating chocolates. Your teeth are doing good now. I can see that you're not eating chocolates." So he used to say these things, and we used to feel that, oh yes, next time I go to a doctor, I should eat less chocolate, so that my mother can again tell him that, okay, he stopped eating chocolates. So very small things, they play a big role in our life. Very very big, right? So just try to remember when anybody appreciated you for anything. It can be your mother, your father, your brother, your friend, your mentor, your teacher, your guide. Just remember that compliment that you got at any point of your life. Right? Just remember. Right? Try to recognize. Do you remember the moment? Do you remember how that person made you feel? Do you remember how empowered you felt? Do you remember how amazing it was to receive that? Right? Do you remember how good the day that went when you received the recognition? Okay. So again, so if you want to transform things, you want to be a transformational leader, listen, have patience to listen, empathize with people, right? That then only you listen more. Okay. Second, always clarify what you mean. Always clarify what you want to get done. Always clarify what is your long term vision. Always clarify what is that you are thinking about, right? Third, create spaces for learning, safe spaces, which in which safe means people should not be afraid to fail. They should not feel, oh, if I fail, what will say people say about me? What will my team think about me? What will my leader think about me? Safe spaces where you feel that, okay, yeah, everybody can fail, right? At the same time, everybody will gain a lot. Similarly, offering meaningful feedbacks, like I said earlier, that not just telling them that where they were wrong, telling them that I understand that they were they made a mistake, however the impact is more important. The impact which they have created is something which we can make it better through our improved actions, right? So offering a feedback which is meaningful, which is going to help them grow, right? Not just a feedback through which they feel demotivated, right? And recognizing good efforts, recognizing growth. I'll give you an example of a teacher. She's a very famous teacher. She's not in this world anymore, but she used to, give marks on a sheet in a very different way. For example, if like regularly teachers used to give 2 out of 10, they used to write very poor, right? 1 out of 10, you should, write that, and did not study at all, something like that. But this teacher, right, when a person got 2 out of 10, she used to give him 2 stars, right? And then if they got three stars, then the students once came to teacher. She said that, ma'am, why have you given me 2 stars? I just got 2 marks out of 10. She said, yeah, because you got two right. You didn't get everything wrong. You got two right, and that is what I'm recognizing. Okay, yeah, you can get more right, and if you work harder, you'll get 8 stars, 10 stars one day. But today you've got 2 stars, and that is why I've given you 2 stars. Right? So recognizing effort and growth. Now this person will try to bring in more stars next time, right? So that is how, because no, you need to understand that everybody is not same. Everybody has a different livelihood. Everybody has a different upbringing, different education, different emotional stability, emotional capacities. They come from various backgrounds, so many cultures, so many values, right? So we can't expect everybody to be same. So as a leader, we have to understand that everybody is good at something. We need to recognize that good thing and see how, as a leader, we can fit it in a place through which we can make things happen. Okay? So that's about how to grow as a transformational leader. Now coming to you guys, right? You are here with me at 1 p.m. on a holiday, right? So your life of a CA daily life is not so simple. I know that there's so many things you need to do. I've just taken out some three parts out of it, right? About your daily routines, right? So there's so much information flowing around you, so much data. Your job is to analyze, your job is to read, your job is to make sense out of data, your job is to streamline data, your job is to process data. So many things happening, right? At the same time, you also need to be how do you say, digitally transformed, so that you are able to manage data in a quick amount of time, and you are able to give a perfect analysis, or you're able to build, what do you say, for foolproof reports, right? So many things in terms of data. At the same time, so many people asking questions. It can be your senior, your team player, it can be your client, it can be anybody asking you questions, so you have to handle queries. So many things happening. Similarly, at the same time, you have to lead people, right? You have to lead your clients to good investments, to good portfolios. You have to lead your clients to good in terms of auditing and reports, right? And you have to manage the client. That means the client may be unhappy with you, the client may be confused with you, the client may be thinking that, okay, I'm paying you too much, something like that, right? So at the same time, you have to lead a team in case you have a team. So these things happening, and if you don't update yourself, staying self development, that is also important. So as a leader, what should you aim for, right? For example, let's talk about managing data. As a leader, you should think that if today I've managed data in certain way, in certain amount of time, in certain uh, accuracy level, every day you should think that I should do better than yesterday. And how should I do better? How should I learn this? Where should I learn it from? That is what is going to make you a leader. So leader is never satisfied with his performance, right? He's always thinking, how can I better this? How can he get one up, right? How can I make it more efficient? And this is how the world grows. This is how organizations grow. This is how everybody grows. If you want to grow in life, as a person, as a leader, as a team player, you should always think that how can I streamline tasks better, right? How can I multitask? How can I get things done in a better way, right? What should I learn so that data can be managed in a better way, right? What software should I use? So as a leader, you should take these decisions. You should be able to solve problems. You should be able to take certain decisions which are important, right? Which are important to convey uh, that convey to others as well as your client that you are the person who can be trusted, not just to do the work, to also improve the way work is done, right? For example, let's say as a teacher, right? As a teacher, if I have to teach a subject, okay, I teach a subject and I come back, but I come back and I reflect upon that how many people yawned in my class, right? What is the percentage of yawns today? What is the percentage of yawn in the next lecture, right? So outcome based education is what we are, right now targeting. So everything is outcome based. Okay. For example, there's a concept called ROTI, return on time invested. So the amount of time that you invested in managing data, what was the return that you got? Okay. So which what I'm saying is, every second or every minute or every hour that you spend, the return should be good, right? How will the return be good? Only if you have the thought of leadership, right? What does leadership mean in this terminology? It means that setting high benchmarks for yourself, right? High benchmarks, how? I'm not saying that doing a miracle or magic, right? I'm saying that whatever you're doing, somebody in the world somewhere is doing it faster than you. Somebody in the world somewhere is doing it is better than you. Somebody in the world is somewhere is doing it more accurately than you, right? That is what I'm saying. As a leader, you should try to find out what is the best way possible to do this. Okay. And then you should try to teach others about it, and teach yourself first, teach others first. That is how you uplift others. You show them benchmarks that let's try to achieve this, let's take a target, let's try to make life interesting, let's try to do something new. Okay. So people, when they leave you, right, it can be anybody, when they leave you and they come back to you after 5 or 6 years, they should say that when they were there with you, whatever we learned, right, that is what has happened, that is what has helped us grow till now. Got it? So as a leader, you should see that whatever I do in my life, how can I make it better? For example, clients. Think of a client who irritated you, who frustrated you, right? And now think that how can you would have made that situation better, right? Think of a person, right, who is in your team, and this is a person that who knows how to work, but he's lazy, right? How can you make him work? How can you get the best out of this person? Got it? What is that one thing which moves that person? For example, some people are emotional, right? So you should not ignore that they are emotional. You should say that, okay, this person is emotional. Let me lead him emotionally. Let him lead him passionately. Let him make him feel that, okay, that, emotion, being emotional is there, and I'm going to, as a leader, recognize your emotions also. Okay. But at the same time, this is what we want to achieve. So as a leader, you should feel that, you should always see that how could a client meeting been better? What words could I have used? What negotiations I could have done? In what better way I could have placed my proposal, right? In what better way I could have explained him the strategy that I am trying to propose, right? So managing data, leading people, all these things you should think as a leader. Now self development, why I have given this dark color to this is because this is the most important part in leadership. Leadership, as I said, it is not about title. People look upon you, people look at a person and they want to follow you. So what is in you that is not in them that they want to follow you? There has to be something, right? In fact, there have to be many things. Got it? So self development means that you should update yourself with information, with knowledge, right, in such a way that people look up to you. You should regularly update your knowledge, your technical expertise. Okay. And other things like presentation skills, emotional intelligence, right? Presentation skills in terms of how to make good presentations, right? One. And second, in terms of how to be confident when you speak to people, right? So that is one part. Another way is, as I said at the start of the session also, the way you groom yourself. You should spend some time in organizing what you want to wear, right? Once I saw a documentary of David Beckham, right? David Beckham has been one of the greatest footballers of all time. And, needless to say, is very, very rich, right? Very, very rich, beyond imagination. So in that documentary, they were showing his house, and he was there in his house, and he was showing his wardrobe, is the place where he keeps his socks and everything. Everything was so organized, and he told them that I do not, there's nobody else that is doing it for me. I do it myself. And he said, I've been doing it from my football days when I used to be 17, 18. Right, my room used to be very clean, very organized, everything, and it never looked like the sports person room, because sports person's room was supposed to be messy, right? So that one part, and then he took the reporters to his kitchen. Right in the kitchen, it was everything was clean, and he says, and in that documentary, he started making food. And while making food, right, the way he was using the utensils, right, it was so organized, the way he had kept everything. And after making the food, while talking only, he cleaned the whole kitchen himself, and in such a perfect way. Okay, so the way he kept his socks, and he had a rod, kind of a thing, right, on which he hanged his day wise clothes. So he had planned that what he's going to wear on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He says every Sunday are planned for the whole week, right? So so what I'm saying is that as a leader, you should see that what are the habits of successful people around the world. How are they successful, and what are their habits? For example, successful people, if you see, they wake up early, they read books, right? They always connect socially with people, right? They have a hobby. Okay, so and they always have a decision making ability of, and they are able to convince people of what they do and why do they do it, right? So there are things you should watch people, and through podcasts, to YouTube, to stories. You should read magazines, you should read autobiographies. You should read the autobiography of Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Sachin Tendulkar, right? So many people that they have written their life stories. APJ Abdul Kalam, what a leader he was, amazing, right? Not every scientist becomes a president, right? In fact, when Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam became the president, he went to the prime minister. He said, "I want to retire," right? But he was not allowed to. Then he went again, and after his next term, he said, "No, I want to retire." The prime minister asked him, "What do you want to do?" He says, "I want to go to each school of India, and I want to talk to the young generation, and I want to understand how do they think, and I want to make sure that they become the future leaders of the country." That was his vision, right? So what I'm saying through this story is that he was able to maintain his vision even till the last days of his life. And that happened because his self development was good, his habits were good, right? And habits is something which you should really improve. You should have a hobby, you should be fit, you should definitely regularly exercise, you should be hydrated, you should eat healthy. That's very, very important, right? Yeah, there can be cheat meals and all, but as a leader, you should be able to take decisions of what you eat, right? And how you eat. How you eat is like how much you eat, or at what time you eat, and all these things. So every day of your life, you should observe that what did I do today for my work, for my clients, and for myself, right? You should try to divide your day into these three categories, and every day you should see that tomorrow I'm going to make at least one of these things better. That is the basis of leadership. All right. Now coming to our core competencies. Now, in the last 1 hour, I've already dropped a lot of hints and stories and examples that what are the competencies that strengthen CA leadership skills, right? So, what are the various factors through which you can be called as a leader, thought of as a leader, looked upon as a leader, not just titled as a leader. Okay. So, in the next 1 hour, 45 minutes, we're going to understand, yeah, what are those core competencies that we need to develop through, and so that we can become leaders? Now, these competencies, some of these I'll be explaining right now here, and some of these are that I'll tell you that these are things that you require. And what I'm expecting out of you is that for each of these competencies, you should try to do a course, or for each of these competencies, you should try to do a, a full what do you say, workshop kind of thing, so that you develop these core competencies. Today we'll talk about that what are these competencies, right? So let me just give you a glimpse first. So one of these competencies is communication skills. Very, very important. As a leader, your communication skills have to be good, right? Communication skills involve the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you walk, the words you use, right? And the kind of what do you say, the kind of language that you are proficient in. Okay, so it also involves presentation, all these things. Then problem solving, it also involves analytical ability. So you should be able to solve problem as a leader. The problem can be financial, the problem can be personal, the problem can be it can be prudential, anything. Problems, you and the steps of problem solving, you should be able to identify what is happening around. You should be able to understand why it is happening like that, what is the root cause of this problem, right? So you should be, as a leader, be able to solve problems. Then ethics and integrity. As a leader, this is very, very important for you. You should be ethical. You should uphold the five core values which have been, defined by the ICAI. Also, I'll be talking about that in the coming slides. Then you should be aware of what's happening around, and you should be adapt to the latest business scenarios, latest changing times, latest changing people, all these things. Then teamwork and collaborative leadership. You should always focus on how you can build teams and how you can collaborate people together so that you can achieve the synergy. You can achieve, bigger things in less amount of time, and how you can surpass the global benchmarks, or the maybe the local benchmarks or the Indian benchmarks. Then emotional intelligence. You should be able to understand your feelings. You should understand other people's feeling. You should be able to define what you're going through, what others are going through, and your decisions should be based on emotional intelligence, not just emotions. Right? These are two different things. Then you need to have a proactive approach, and you need to take initiatives as a leader. Okay. So that is where leadership really counts. So what I want to say is that you should know what is going to happen, and you should be able to take a approach well within time. And then organizational and managerial skills or management skills, right? As a leader, you have to organize efforts, you have to organize information, you have to organize data, you have to organize people, right? You have to organize processes, so many things. And you have to manage people, delegate work, focus on the results, right? And analyze results, right? Build strategies, okay? And last but not least, you need to improve your business acumen. You should know how businesses are run in various countries, not just India, in various states. What are the factors affecting business, and how people are investing, where are they investing, and what is right, what is wrong, what is ethical, what is unethical, what can lead to a downfall. All these things. Should have a very good business acumen. Plus, you should at the same time be coaching and developing others. Okay. So now let's take these one by one. So let's start with the first one, communication skills. Now here, both written and verbal abilities are important, right? They can help you in negotiations, they can help you in presentations, they can help you in team management, right? They can help you in motivating people, inspiring people. They can help you in solving crisis situations. They can help you in client communications, right? They can help you in explaining something to a client. Got it? So if your information is clear and effective, it is going to help you, right? It can help you as a leader in terms of managing a team, right? Managing what people are going through, right? Maybe a person is going through something personal and he is still on work, right? So if you're able to judge that, you're able to communicate, and maybe you're able to make him feel better so that that person can, focus on the work. Now that person has already come to work. That means he has taken a decision that I would come to work even though I'm going through this personal problem. So you as a leader, you should acknowledge that this person wants to work. Yes, there's something which is troubling him, but he wants to work. That's the decision that he has taken, and I should empower him, right? I should tell him that I'm there with you, don't worry, let's do it together, right? At the same time, talking to a client, right? Clients always feel that the work that you do is so complex, so financially technical, that they don't understand anything. So you should not confuse the client. You should always try to explain things in a way which are not very complex, right? I'll be giving you some example. So let's start. So our first category would be choice of words, right? In the first category, during motivation inspiration, when you're talking to your team members or talking to anybody, what kind of words you should use. Now these examples are in English. You can obviously translate in your regional language. If you're talking to a person who understands regional language, you should know that what kind of language I should use, right? These words are example of the words to be used and what kind of affirmations they should create, right? For example, a word like I trust you to lead this initiative. This word I trust you, right? This builds relationships. This build you as a leader. Similarly, recognizing your contribution made a difference. This, remember we said transformation leadership, recognize efforts, recognize others. So how do you recognize? It is not through gifts or prizes only. One statement can recognize the effort of others. Your contribution made a difference, right? Then you have my support in this challenge, which means you are creating a ecosystem. Remember I said safe spaces, right? Safe spaces for people to learn, grow, fail and fall. So you say, "Ah, you have my support in this challenge. We are in this together. Then let's aim higher together. Collaboration, higher benchmarks, right? And growing together, not just putting that, okay, aim higher, you should aim higher, big, do bigger, you are thinking small. You still let's together aim higher, right? I'm there in with you. Then a word like great job, good job, well done, keep making it better, yeah, keep up the good work, all these things, right? So there are various ways through which you can pass on this leadership words. You can give them small cards, right? And you can do it on a WhatsApp message, you can do it on a professional email, right? You can do it on LinkedIn, recognizing if you know your client or refers anybody like that. So there are various ways through which you can communicate, but you should always do that. Okay, it empowers team, it empowers clients, it builds long-term relationships, right? So let's move on. I'll give you many more examples. For example, when in a conflict, okay, how should you talk about it, right? You should not say that, um, like for example, people are in conflict. Why are they conflict? Because they have different perspectives, right? So instead of saying that you're not listening to me, you should say, I want to hear your perspective. I want to understand your point of view, right? You should always try to negotiate by saying that let us find a common ground. Let us try to get on a similar way. Let us try to find how both our perspectives can be put into place, right? Then a simple word like I understand you, I understand your concern, I understand your point of view, right? Let's work on a solution. Always look forward to a solution. You should not be using words of proving somebody is right or wrong. If you know somebody is right or wrong, you should try to explain to them in a way that they understand your point of view, not just stamping authority that okay, I told you na, that you are wrong. I told you, I already told you, I have so much experience, I've told you. You should not use words like this, neither in front of a client, neither in front of team. Should always say, yes, I understand what you're saying. Many other clients have also have the same thought process. However, I would like to just give you some examples. This is what will happen. This is how it is going to happen, right? So it's better that we follow this approach. So you should always talk in a way that people understand you. People want to listen to you, right? So things like thank you for sharing your views, such a wonderful thing to say in a conflict, right? You say thank you so much for sharing your opinion. I never thought like that, right? It's a different point of view altogether. I never thought from this point of view. Okay, so here it's a combination of emotional intelligence and the right kind of words. Okay, then in terms of crisis, now crisis means that panic mode. Panic mode means that under pressure, time pressure, and all these things. Okay, so in crisis, you should be talking about the facts. You should leave the emotions out of it. You say here are the facts as we know them. Right, let's see what can be done. Okay, so then things like we will learn from this and move forward. Okay, motivational in terms of crisis. Then transparency and honesty. You should say that let's be transparent. Let's it's again safe ecosystem to fail. Right, anybody who has done something wrong, just it's okay to come out. Let's try to see that how can we make it better. Okay, and as a leader, I take responsibility. You say, I take ownership of this. Don't worry, you stay with me. We are going to get out of it. Got it? So this is something, for example, in a that in the World Cup, she gave Shivali Verma the ball. Now it could have gone the any way around. Shivali Verma has not been a regular bowler, right? But she got a wicket in the very first over. In fact, she got two wickets in the final. She has never played in major tournaments as a bowler, right? Now here, Harmanpreet Kaur took the ownership that okay, I take responsibility. You move ahead and let's see what can be happen. Got it? So when you are setting point number four on the right hand side of the screen, when you are setting vision and direction, right? When you are remember I said transformation leadership, clarity of vision, right? This is where the words our vision is to I see an opportunity for innovation. Let's keep our focus. This is our roadmap. This strategy positions us. So choice of words is also very important as a leader, right? So I hope that you understand the value of words. Words are very important. In whichever language you talk, words have an effect, words have an impact, right? In fact, on a funny note, all the politicians, they use only words right? Through their words only, they are able to make such an impact that people vote for them, and then afterwards they are saying that oh my god, this person is not working. but their words have such an impact that they believe in them. In fact, in some states, they are crazy about the politicians, and they are recognizing the politicians just because the way they speak, the words they use. Okay, then giving feedback. This we have discussed earlier. Also, giving feedback is very important, and giving feedback for growth, meaningful feedback, which helps them grow, right? So you can say words like, I appreciate your efforts, right? This is an area for growth, right? This is where you can grow further, right? You can say that, okay, uh, if somebody is doing something, it's not working, you don't say this is not working. Say, can we try a new approach? Can you consider trying a new approach? Can we look upon this in a different way? Can I see that, can I see what can be done through this? Okay. And then last but not least, offering help. Let me know how can I help you. Let me know at what point I can help you. Right. Let me know that is this the best way you want it to be done, or is there any suggestion that you want to give? We can change that. All right. Okay. Moving ahead. When dealing with clients, right? On the left hand side, you can see a lot of words that you can use, right? I would like to clarify, right? I would like to simplify things for you. Let's review this. I recommend. Instead of saying that you should do this, I recommend, I advise, right? I would like to update you. Instead of saying that, this is what has happened, you say, I would like to update you that this is what has happened, right? I'd like to resolve the issue. Things, words like thank you, please, kindly, right? Being, say that this is I would like to keep things transparent. Okay, let's have a proactive approach. All these kind of words. And you can see here one example I've given. We should always avoid jargon and simplify technical things when you're talking to the clients. For example, saying, your quarterly GST return is pending, right? So this is something which is you've told them, but the client doesn't understand that what does it mean if it is pending. So what is going to happen, right? So if you tell them that filing it soon or within time can help us avoid some penalties, that is how the client will understand. Okay, it's pending and some penalty can be there, so I need to do, right? Similarly, for example, there's an issue with how deferred taxes are accounted for, right? So simplify, say, let me simplify the corrections for you. Okay, so you should always use words like let me simplify it for you, so the client feels better. They feel that, okay, this person understands me, okay, and he's trying to keep things transparent, he's trying to help me. So there are many other situations here. For example, building trust and transparency. For example, how do you build trust and transparency? I've been saying for the last 1.5 hour that you should be transparent, you should build trust. But what are words which build trust, right? For example, I want to ensure that you have a complete understanding. I want to make sure. I want to, create uh, an environment for you through which you get the best possible service, right? Let me clarify, or I understand that you may not be well versed with this, so let me assign a team member who can explain it to you, and still if you have a doubt, you can call me anytime. Or you can say, this is a person who will handle your queries, you call him anytime, right? Or you say that, on Saturdays or Fridays, or this is the time we have kept for queries, please do come and visit whenever you can. Even if you don't have any query, if you have time, please do visit us, we'll talk over tea, right? I would like to know that what are your future plans, if I can help you in any way. Are you understanding? So building trust and transparency goes beyond words. It is more of an effort. It's more of a genuine effort, genuine, what do you say, time zone given, right? Genuine, what do you say, a work zone given, genuine place, right? So a lot of times it happens that you do not have the an environment through which the trust can be created. For example, you if you are leading a team, the team member doesn't know if he can talk to you about this or not. Similarly, client doesn't know if he can negotiate, or he can just ask you that, okay, other C is taking less money, right? So can he talk to you in that manner or not? You should always say, you should not get offended that, oh, they don't, you don't know what they're doing, they're doing this stuff, that stuff. You say, okay, I understand that. Let us understand that, what kind of money he's taking, and what kind of service he's giving. And at the same time, let me tell you what I bring to the table, right? And you can say, I completely understand that everybody would like to save money one way or the other, and that is where I come with you, right? I can help you not just save money, I can help you invest or grow money, right? So you should talk in these terms, that the person should feel that I can talk to him anytime, that, okay, and you should create an environment through which they feel that you are a person whom they can trust, whom they can rest their, head upon your shoulder kind of thing. So head upon your shoulder means that the financial troubles head on your business acumen shoulder kind of that. Okay. Then addressing concerns or questions, right? For example, talking to a client, asking open-ended questions. For example, can you share your long-term goals with us? Would you like to explain any part of the report in more detail? Would you like to tell me more about your business, more about your vision, more about your long-term plans? Would you like to tell me what you have in your mind this year? Would you like to tell me what are your expectations from me? What do you expect from me? Right? In addition to our services, is there anything else you feel that I can help you with? So all these things, they can build a very good platform. Similarly, providing proactive updates, this is very important, right? So reminders and noticing certain anomalies and informing them on time, and it makes the client feel connected with you. It tells them that okay, this person cares about us, this person thinks about us. They also feel that this person has a very personalized approach, right? But how can you be proactive here? Digital transformation is going to help you, right? You can set up reminders, you can set up automatic emailers, right, through which can go through emails. Automatic reminders can be sent to a client. You can have a automatic AI chatbot through which a client can access you. All these things, you should have the frequently asked questions and their answers uploaded in a chatbot. Even Instagram helps you create a chatbot. You just tell Instagram that I want to create a financial help chatbot as a CA, right? So on Instagram, when you build your account, you can create a chatbot. You don't have to be technical about it. Simply just go to Instagram and say AI chatbot, right? It will tell you where to create from it, and then you can write down the frequently asked questions and what kind of answers which are required. And you don't have to give the answers also. The AI will give all the answers. In case you feel that for a particular question this has to be the answer, then you can tell Instagram, right? Otherwise, you can create a chatbot by telling that this chatbot should know this, and it should be able to answer these kind of questions. Then the AI will regularly answer those questions, and you can ask your clients to visit your chatbot whenever they are in doubt or something like that. And you can also review those kind of answers, responses given by the AI, so that the AI says something and then you don't know what it said, something like that. So these are things I think you can use, and this can position you as a proactive leader. Okay. Then things like responding to issues or mistakes which have happened, right? It can be on your point also, right? A client can say, okay, you have done this mistake, so you say thank you for bringing it to my attention, this is how we can resolve it. Or it can be a mistake on client's point also. You said, okay, I forgot to tell you this, right? You say, okay, let me check the details, I'll get back to you. Don't say that, don't hide information from me, what is this, I told you at the starting only, you should not hide anything from me, right? You should, instead of these saying these things, you say let me check. And then when you check and you feel, if somewhere you feel that the client intentionally hid something or something, you should say that, sir, I understand that not everybody wants to share everything at one go, but sometimes what can happen is that if you don't trust us, then we both of us can land in trouble, as well as your trouble can be even bigger than mine. So let's do certain things in which we both can gain from it, and my aim is to help you, so you can completely trust me. So like that. So your words are going to help. Okay. And relationships are built by words, your tone, right? The way you speak. You should have a genuine concern in your tone. Whenever somebody comes to you, you should listen with empathy. You should have genuinely concern that, okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay. So you should make eye contact with the person when you're speaking. Sometimes we have a habit of looking at our phone and listening. Yeah, yes, yes, I'm listening. No, that's wrong. You should always maintain eye contact when you're listening to somebody. Okay. Then giving feedback or advice, right? I suggest, I would recommend, this is where we can grow, right? Be always be constructive and specific, that what kind of feedback you want to give, right? And then closing communications, showing appreciation. Thank you for your time, thank you for providing these details, thank you for providing timely details. Is there anything else I can help you with? All right. So that's about the part where you talk about communication. Then if you remember, next element was problem solving. So problems can be anything. For example, it can be reconciling account discrepancies, it can be advising clients on tax saving measures after analyzing their financial models, or it can be detecting the irregularities of fraud by pinpointing. So the major thing is that why problem solving is important to the client, right? Why? Because these skills position you as trusted advisors, right? If you solve problems for the clients, right, it helps you not just become record keepers, but also strategic business partners. Remember, at the starting only I said that you should always go for that transformational leadership. The traditional leadership was you are record keepers, auditors, helping things for the company. But now modern leadership says you are strategic business partners. You help the businesses grow, right? So analytical thinkings and problem solving, it helps prevent very costly errors and also helps the CA to give actionable insights to the people. So you should definitely learn how to solve problems as a leader. You should always learn problem solving. You can practice on the job. You can learn from people. You can have a mentor. You should always collaborate with people from ICAI or other professional organizations. You should engage in brainstorming helps you solve many problems. All right, so you should read about cases which have happened all around the world. Like I said in the starting only, you should read stories, real life stories of how problems were solved by various CAs in various countries or various states, or right, you should always read stories about success, stories about failures, how problems were not solved. All these things you should try to find out. Okay, so brainstorming, you understand what is it? Brainstorming means you should take problems not just individually. You should say, okay, I've got a problem, is anybody available, so that we can discuss together. So you should try to connect with people who are like-minded and discuss problems with them and brainstorm with new ideas. As a leader, you should bring problems not just to your team, you should also bring problems to your colleagues and say that what can be done, let's see. That is how you grow, and you other make other people also grow. All right, then you should always question, right? You should be curious that why is this rule like this, why is that. You should try to go to a root cause, and that can help you grow as a problem solver. Okay, and you should always make sure that whatever problems that you are going to solve, you should do it timely, and you should also explain to all the stakeholders that how the problem was solved, what was the problem, and what are the things which were done to be right, to solve it. So as a leader, people will look up to you if you're a problem solver. So this is a competency that you should definitely build in yourself, how to be a problem solver, right? First was communication skills, second is solving problems, third is ethics and integrity, which I've been talking about earlier also. Honesty, transparency, ethical behavior, constant demonstration of these three things. Constant, which means in every action, every time people meet you, they should feel that okay, you were honest, you were transparent, you had an ethical behavior, your conduct, your body language, your eye contact, your smile, everything, right? This is very crucial in financial reporting, very very crucial, right? This is something which can help you build long term clients, right? So there are five core values as per ICAI code of ethics. Right? One first is integrity. That means being straightforward in professional and business relationship and being honest. Right? Being integrity everywhere, being straightforward and honest. Right? Not going on the bush or beating on the bush, and maybe saying, oh, maybe this can happen, that can happen. Being straightforward that this is the rule and this is how it is going to happen. Second, being unbiased, objectivity, unbiased, right, and avoiding conflicts of interest. I understand, you have gone through so much study that you understand what is conflict of interest. You should avoid these things. Okay, unbiased approach, totally. Whatever you know, you should clearly, objectively place it in front of the client. That's very important. Then professional competence and due care. This is also important. Integrity means that it's your duty to be professionally updated. It's your duty to be professionally up to date, skill wise, competency wise, personality wise, attitude wise, right? And you should be able to give them the latest in service, right? You should not be a person that okay, the client doesn't know, I can say him anything. You should not be like that. You should not find from any other person that there was a better way to do it, and there's a latest way to do it, and this your CA has not guided you in a better way. Maybe he's trying to reduce his work. This should not happen, right? Then confidentiality. Never ever you should share your client information with anybody. You should protect it with your life, right? Because the client will come, he or she comes to you, right? There may be a lot of people who have made mistakes and everything, but they are sharing with you. That means they're trusting you. You should never ever, yeah, obviously, right? You should not be a part of anything unethical, right? But you should not share with anybody when a client has told you something in person, in terms of in taking you in confidence. And last but not the least, professional behavior. Always comply with laws, regulations, avoiding actions that can discredit the profession. Very, very important. You should not set a bad example. There's so many people who come to me sometimes. They are, my CA does this, my CA can do this, right? Your CA is not doing that. Look, like that, they say my CA is very competent. He's able to find this and that, and so these kind of things. If they're not complying with the rules and regulation, you should avoid that. Okay, always make sure that you uphold these values more than anything in the world, right? So how should you build that? Always be honest. Always question. If you are pressured to adjust statements or reports, always stand your ground. Question. Refer to ethical standards. Tell them that, okay, this is something which cannot be done. This is something which I'm abide by, right? This is something which I've taken a pledge for. Okay. Transparency can help you. Clearly disclose your fair terms, never hide anything. So that will help you in being ethical. Okay. Disclose your fees, disclose your terms and conditions, disclose your all relevant information to your clients. Okay. Decisions about documents, keep proper records, right? That is where the digital transformation can help you. You can buy cloud space and keep data on the cloud. You can always keep all the data which is shared in a professional, organized manner, so that that future accountability, you can tell them that this is what was shared with me, this is what was how it was done, and all these things. Okay. Confidentiality, that we've already discovered, but here we can again use the digital transformation. We can have encrypted data. Sometimes you have not shared data with anybody else, but it got shared, or it got leaked, it got stolen from you, right? That is where digital transformation can really help you. Nobody can then steal data if you are cyber secured or digitally secured, right? And last not the least, always seek guidance from your seniors, from your mentors, from your colleagues, from people who have faced certain situations, right? Sometimes your family also, you can take, sometimes guidance from your family that, okay, I'm under pressure, tell me what to do, right? Okay. Then there was awareness and adaptability. This we have, in various examples we have discussed this. Again, I'll put it forward to you. Awareness about what is happening in the world, staying updated with industry trends, business rules, policies, regulations, technology changes, product changes, how environment is changing, whatever is changing around the world in terms of finance, in terms of business, right? In terms of consumers, customers, all these things. You should read newspaper regularly, newspapers like Economic Times, right? You should read magazines which are related to finance. Okay. And adaptability means reading is not enough. You should be able to adapt with the new world. You should be able to adapt your leadership and business strategies in this fast evolving financial environment. If you're not evolving, if you're not adopting, if the new things, right, you're not able to adapt with the new pace, so then you'll be out of business. That's not a good thing. Then teamwork and collaborative leadership. Cross-functional collaborations are very important these days. Cross-functional means you will not be only collaborating with people who are from finance. You might be collaborating with people who are not from finance, people who are from some other fields in the business environment. You should be able to collaborate with them, seek knowledge, gain knowledge, share knowledge, and take informed decisions, right? Another thing, you should always try to resolve conflicts. Okay, you should try to mentor people, coach people, and then make them grow, right? So that is something which is very important in your profession, because there's so much information, there's so many policy changes. Like I told you in the starting, VUCA environment, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. You can't survive alone. You need to have good connections, good networks. You need to have collaborations, right? So that you can resolve conflicts by taking advice, by taking suggestions from other people, right? So that is how the world moves. So you should also move in that domain. And this is something which is very close to my heart as a leader. Emotional intelligence. You should be self-aware. Self-aware means sometimes you speak in anger to somebody. You are not really angry. You might be disappointed, you might be irritated, you might be tired, right? But that person just saw your anger, because you didn't realize that you are tired, you are irritated, you are frustrated, you are disappointed. Your just emotion came out in just one way, anger. because your body is not emotionally intelligent, your mind is not emotionally intelligent, it doesn't understand. I'll give you example. For example, if I slap you, right, you'll feel the pain and you'll feel angry. But if a small child slaps you in the same way, okay, now here the pain is the same, but the anger will not be the same, right? Similarly, if an emotionally unstable person or a mentally unstable person slaps you, will feel like, oh, okay, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. So being emotionally intelligent means that pain is the same. The emotion that you attached with the pain is your decision. That is your intelligence. Should I attach this anger to this emotion, sorry, to this pain or not? Right? Second is social skills. You should know how to communicate with people, how to talk with people, how to interact with people. You should not shy away from people. You should not say that, okay, these are kind of people I don't want to talk with. These so you are in an environment where you will be meeting all kinds of people. So you should improve your social skills, right? And third is self-regulation. You should regulate, notice your emotions. When do you get angry? When do you get sad? When do you get too emotional? Right? Because these emotions can affect your work also. So you should always keep a tab on it, right? And motivation means that you should always motivate people around you. Very important. Whatever happens, you should try to motivate people, right? And we have discussed this so many times today. Motivation can help people grow, right? Keeping your emotions aside, you should try to motivate, inspire. You should give safe spaces for people to grow. You should try to see those 2 stars out of 10, that okay, you got 2 stars, but yeah, the 8 ones I can help you with, like that. You should empathize with people, right? For example, somebody has a scooter, somebody has a car, somebody has a bicycle in on the road, right? When we're driving, we don't empathize with them. We are always honking that, what is this? You're in front of me, I'm in a car, you're in a bicycle, just move aside, right? That is not empathy. Unless until the government says that okay, cycle track is different, that person has to be on the same road. So you need to empathize that person. He has the same right on the road like you do. You have a better machine, that's another story, but you should empathize that he will take time. Sometimes there are people who pull these heavy carts, right? Selling ice cream and everything, and we are asking them that, move fast, move. It's very difficult for them to push those carts. So but we don't empathize. So it's very important as a leader, you should always empathize, be humble. Then initiative and proactive approach, this as we discussed earlier, you should offer innovative solutions. You should know this can only happen if you are well versed with the world. You should know what is happening in the world. You are reading newspapers, you should know how the financial situation is going to change, right? So you should always have a proactive approach in decision making. You should be identifying growth opportunities for yourself, for your client, for your team, everybody. You should also understand what are the risks which can be for the business. So you should take initiatives and uphold these things and tell it to people, right? And towards the last two competencies, the second last is organizational management skills, right? Like I told you in the starting, every day as a CA, you should find out that what did you do today and how it can be better, right? That means how can I manage my time better? How can I prioritize my tasks better, right? And how can I do things in a way that time is saved, efficiency is increased, right? And people are motivated. This can happen. One is through time management. Second is through delegation. You should know what work can be delegated to whom. What work can be delegated to a software. What work can be delegated to a person. What work can be delegated in terms of skill, in terms of attitude, right? So these things you should keep in mind while delegation of tasks and responsibilities among your team members. Okay. Then project planning. You should regularly brainstorm, bring everybody together, collaborate, and then have a comprehensive project planning, that what should be done, what should be the various, you should have a funnel approach, right? Wherein at each stage of a funnel, you should know that what is going to be done, what are the deadlines, what are timelines, right? And then you should keep a regular focus on it. And last and not the least is the resource optimization. That means all the resources that you have, including the laptops and the Wi-Fi connections and the files, cabinets, and all these things, you should know that how can I optimize the use of these resources, right? As I told you earlier, for each of these competencies, you should try to do a workshop. You should try to learn from your seniors. You should try to learn from maybe a website or something like that, because it's very important that you guide these competencies, right? As a leader, being organized, being well managed. For example, whatever problem you face, you should try to find out what is the root cause, right? You will find that most of the things can be solved through project planning. and delegation. Very, very important thing. And half of the life problems can be solved through time management. Rest by God. So time management is very important. Everybody has 24 hours, hours in a day, but what you do with those 24 hours is going to matter. All right. And the last competency is increasing your business acumen, right? Understanding market trends, commercial awareness, business landscapes, ecosystems, policies, government policies, trade policies, everything that is happening around you, banking policies, all these things. You should know what is happening, how the budget is going to be, and how the people are going to invest future, like that. So you should regularly update your skills, okay? And when you're regularly updating your skills, you should side by side coach and develop others also. You should be willing to mentor people. You should, that is what I say, you should take help from your mentors, right? They are willing to help you. Similarly, you should be willing to help. You should give constructive feedback. You should invest in talent, invest in how the talent can be developed in a in a way that people grow. All right. So this is something which I think each one of you should imbibe in. Okay. And my last thought or the final thought will be build a leadership that lasts, right? And lasts forever. Okay. So on this thought, I would like to end today's session. I hope I was able to give you some insights, the competencies that are required as a leader. And I would like to now open the house for the question answers. I was told that you'll be sharing your questions on some platform, and I'll be given those questions. So I request the moderators to kindly help me if there are any questions so that I can address those. So I would again request the moderators, the tech support team, and Chami ma'am, if there are any questions that you would like to share with me. Yes, Manish. Okay, okay. All right. So shall we close the session then?
Hello. Yes, 1 second. Let me read it out for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the best practices for CAs to stay up to date with industry trends and development? And how can they apply their knowledge in their leadership role?
Okay, great. So thank you so much for the question, first of all, right? The best practices, one of the best practices is networking, right? You should regularly engage in communications, be it online or offline. You should attend events where CAs are getting together or business professionals are getting together, right? A very good ice-breaking question when you go to such events is what brings you here? Right? It is an open-ended question, and then people tell you, okay, their experiences and like that. Okay, and at the same time, you should always try not just reading it from magazines or news. You should try to talk to individual people, individual business owners or clients. You should ask them that how do they think about investments or their finances. Are they confused? Do they think that the policies are too confusing or they're too risky, right? So they should always try to have a practice of asking questions, being curious, okay, and updating the information and benchmarking it with the latest in the industry. And how can they use it in the leadership style is, like today in my session, I use a lot of examples, a personal example, stories, the things which have happened around me, things which have happened around the world. So if they keep updated with the real life examples, then they are in a better position to talk to a client by giving them an example. For example, if a client feels that this is risky or I should not go about it, now this person, the CA, if he has examples of some similar business owners who did this in the past and were successful, so he or she can use that. right? So I feel updating has a lot to do with networking. One. Second, one thing I believe is vocabulary. There are so many good articles, that editorials, which we are not able to understand because our vocabulary is not up to date, right? We have a lot of information today's date, but we are not able to understand in layman's language. So if you can update your vocabulary, technical vocabulary especially, right? How will that happen? Regularly, if you start reading professional articles, you will get in a habit of understanding some words which are complex, right? For example, today I introduced VUCA, right? VUCA is used very regularly in business environment. So if you do not know what is VUCA, you will not be able to talk about it. Another thing is, for example, vocabulary. If you have a good vocabulary, you will be able to write also. If you're able to write, then you can establish yourself as a leader, right? So you can write articles, okay? People will follow you, right? Your team members will follow you. Your clients will trust you more, right? If you are a author as well, right? So if a client gets to know that, okay, this person regularly writes for magazines or newspapers, that kind of trust that builds, that positions you as a leader, okay? And third, I think that one thing which we regularly do is, like we do study our books, or we do study the subjects that we have done, or we do revise things, okay? But what we should do is, whatever we have learned in the past, we should try to have a regular habit of seeing that what is the latest update about it. I think being digitally transformed can really help you. You should every day, you should, for example, if you download Perplexity, like we have Google Chrome, we have a browser called Comet, right? A Comet has a voice assistant. Every day you can talk to Comet, and you can say that what's new in this particular line of work, what's new in this. So they can say that what's new in income tax law number this, like that. So every day they should make a habit of updating and benchmarking whatever they know with the latest in the industry. Plus they should also know what is the applicability of it, right? So I think this is something which can be done.
The next question is like, by emerging trends, what AI or what digital knowledge should a person have to have a good leadership quality?
All right, another very good question. So AI, so in AI, so when I say AI, it is artificial intelligence, right? So every company which has made an AI tool, for example, if I talk about general AI tools first, OpenAI has made ChatGPT. We've got Microsoft Copilot. I just told you about Perplexity, right? Then we have got Meta on our WhatsApp. Okay. So yesterday only, I was showing to one of my colleagues. She said, "Sir, you have made this. I had made a presentation for students on networking, and there was a video of a lion in it, and I had, attached the example of a lion as the king of a jungle to networking." So she said that, how did you come up with this idea and how did you make this video? I said, I made it while I was driving. She said, how? I said, I was not texting and driving. I simply gave a voice command to Meta, right? I was driving, I saw a lion's picture on somebody's car, and suddenly a question came to my mind that why is lion called the lion of a jungle? I mean, the king of the jungle. So I just activated my voice command on Meta, which is on WhatsApp. I said, why is lion the king of the jungle? And how I can relate this concept to networking, make a presentation, make a video, right, and write an article about it. And while I was driving, the by the time I reached office, I had everything on Meta. I had a video, I had a presentation, I had an article, right? So what I'm trying to say is, it is not that what AI can do for you. It is that every AI has a lot of opportunities that you can explore. Okay, this is one part. Now, when it comes to technical part, finance part, there's so many softwares which are specifically made for CAs, right? All you have to do is simply search for the software. For example, Gamma, you can make presentations around it, right? Then you have these software which can help you simplify tally processes, right? So I remember did a course on thinking skills with the same thing with 3 hours course, and we discussed about 10 tools which the CAs can use. Okay, so what you should do is use any app platform. And for example, if you want let's say if you want something in litigation, you simply say AI tool for litigation, it will come out. AI tool for drafting audits, it will come out. AI tool for reporting, it will come out. For example, Grammarly, right? Grammarly inc whenever you have to write an email or write a report, you can simply use Grammarly to make it more professional, to proofread the grammar mistakes, right? To proofread from a legal point of view, these kind of things. Okay, so AI is really going to help you. So you should definitely learn, for example, Excel, right? Power BI. then Tally. They have the versions, advanced versions have come up, which they use AI. Okay. For example, if you want to, in my last lecture only, somebody asked me, said, I have a lot of hard copies in front of me, and a lot of our time gets wasted in creating Excel out of them, right? And I showed them you can simply click a picture, upload it on ChatGPT, and ask it to create an Excel, even if it is handwritten. So even if it is handwritten, it will create an Excel for you. And it is not just ChatGPT. Perplexity will do it for you. Gemini will do it for you, right? So many things can be done through AI, right? So all you simply use the common platforms and ask that what tool for this purpose, what tool for that purpose, and you'll be able to do that. And another thing is, once you get the tool, how to use that tool, again use AI, right? So you tell AI that I want to use this tool for drafting document. How should I do it? AI will also give you the prompt of how to do it. Simple, right? So I think that is how you can do it.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. So this comes an end to your session, and so it has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webcast on core competency that Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICI has organized. And on behalf of the committee ICI, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker Gunit Paul and for his enlightening session. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICI for our today's speaker Gunit Paul and all other stakeholders made this webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you who have present here and helping us to make this webcast a grand success. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much.
We can close the session.